Hey guys, what's up? Zax here. Today we are here with the second round of the Go-Kart Championship in 2015, and unfortunately this time there are only two of us here today, myself and my dad. There are a lot of reasons why everyone else couldn't make this, so hopefully you guys understand, and I won't share why they couldn't make it, but you know, important reasons for all of them. But anyway, this is the round number 2, and in the first round Tim managed to get 35 points out of 35 points, so he had a perfect weekend, which has only happened 2 times before. So I was sort of hoping here today that it was going to be simple. I was like, so far, well, the end of last season, the start of this season, my dad hasn't really had the most luck, and he hasn't really had the best of karts, and I was sort of expecting it to be pretty easy. So I decided to let him have pole position, because as there was only 2 of us here, we decided just to have the 2 10-minute races. But as the lights go out any second now, we're going to have a quick look at the starts, because see there, the lights have gone out and away we go. But my dad gets a pretty good start here, and I don't manage to do that well off the start line here. My dad normally gets pretty bad starts, but today it looks like he's actually got a decent car, and that should help him actually towards maybe a good result here today. But obviously this will both help us out at the championship here. I'm currently in 2nd place in the championship. My dad's currently in 4th place, I think, because he finished in 4th place the last 2 races. So yeah, he didn't have exactly the greatest of starts to the season, with the not too great results in the first round, but that's just because he had a pretty bad kart, which you guys would have seen. And as I say in all of these videos, the karts can never be exactly the same, but they sort of average themselves out throughout the whole season. So throughout the whole season you see sort of everyone in the correct position at the end, as it all sort of works out. Everyone, you know, uses different karts each time, so you'd hope that it was average itself out, unless you're very lucky and get a good kart every single time. But anyway, you can probably notice that I've actually well, I did forget to take my go-kart shoes, so I'm actually just wearing my normal shoes, which are just blue shoes. So I'm just like currently all blue except for my gloves. It looks a bit weird, but at the same time quite cool. But anyway, that's not probably, you know, you guys probably think I look stupid still, but anyway, you can see my dad is still keeping a good lead here, and I was pushing 100% here, and I was really trying, but I'm not too sure why. There's just something that wasn't too great about this car. I don't want to just keep making excuses, but there was something that just, I'm not too sure exactly what it was. I mean, it wasn't a terrible car, but there was something. I think it was the acceleration actually, which was the bad part about this car. The top end speed seemed to be fine, but the acceleration from like 0 to 20 miles an hour seemed to be quite bad. I mean, I had to carry a lot of momentum throughout the corners, and it really confused me, because at a certain part of the track I lose so much time. Like this corner here, I lose so much time. You can see my dad pull away. Maybe not helped that I run out wide, but he still managed to pull away. I just didn't understand that. And you can see throughout the end of the lap, when you need the acceleration, he seems to pull away. Then down the straight, I sort of keep up with him here, but as my dad and myself are pretty similar in terms of like weight and everything, it should be a pretty even race. So that's why I was like, what's up with this car here? Why is it not managing to do what I want it to here? But at this moment I was like, right, let's just not do anything silly here, trying to like overdrive the kart or whatever to try and make ourselves do faster than the kart can actually go. Because obviously some karts, you know, not as good tyres or something. Maybe that's a factor as well. Maybe my dad had newer tyres on his kart, and maybe he was just driving well today. He hadn't exactly had the greatest end to the last season, the Winter Championships, and also the start to this season as well. You'd have seen in the last race he managed to finish in 4th place in both the races, which was sort of last, but I'll say 4th place to be nicer. But yeah, so actually I forgot to tell you guys about the cameras, because I did actually charge up 2 cameras, because obviously there's only 2 of us, so I only need to take 2 cameras this time, not 3 or whatever. But for some reason the one that my dad was using didn't seem to charge properly or something, or I left it on overnight or something, because I charged it the night before both the cameras. I'm not too sure, because as soon as I turned on, I should say, the camera, it just had like no battery. I was like, okay then. I was a bit confused. I was sort of hoping that it would still record, but my dad's camera actually literally recorded for 8 seconds and then it turned off. I was like, okay, that's a bit annoying, but luckily my camera still had full charge, so it was what it was, and I just had to show you guys this one view. At least it wasn't like last year where literally all of the cameras failed at once, which was a bit annoying in terms of the battery. I mean, The GoPro I think I'm using is the oldest GoPro, so that's why I was more surprised that this one had the full charge. So I'm assuming I left my dad's camera on overlight, and that meant that it ran out of battery, and then when I went to turn it on it had no battery. So hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, you can see about halfway through this race now I've got right up behind my dad, literally. I couldn't be much closer instead of like hitting the back of him down this straight, but I decided to go to the outside here and then try and cut back to the inside, but there's a little bit of contact there as I tried to go down sort of the inside there, sort of a big cutback, but I couldn't quite do it. My dad managed to keep that position and stay in the lead of this race here, and he only won one race last year, was more consistent than out and out fast. Because if you look at the leaderboards, he had one or two sort of really good weekends and was just consistent throughout the rest of the season, which meant he was second in the championship. But looks like he's got some good speed here today. I think he said before this race, you'll want to remember this for later on, he said that his fastest lap time was 32, I think, 32.3 or something like that. That's what he said his fastest lap time was so far this season. And just to put that in perspective, I normally do between like late 29s, like 29.8 to sort of 30.8, 30.9. So there's obviously about a second there, depending on what kart you have. Obviously, a good kart you'll be into the 29s, a slower kart you'll be towards the higher end of the 30s. So yeah, that puts it into perspective. He hasn't had the best of luck, and obviously, if you did see that last round and the second race, my dad actually had a crash, not because he did anything wrong, but because the kart failed. But I won't completely spoil it if you haven't watched that, guys, so go and check it out. It's on the channel a couple of weeks ago that was uploaded to this, so go and have a look over there. But anyway, I should probably tell you guys going to this round what the points were looking like. Tim was on 35 points leading the championship. I was in second place on 24. Then Tom was in third place on 20, and my dad was in fourth place on 16 points. So that put us in, well, it put me in a good position here. Like, I'm probably going to take the lead the championship unless I crash out on both races here. So I suppose in a way that's good, but in a way you'd like to have as many people as possible to make it more challenging. But I'm right behind my dad here, right up in the slipstream once again. It seems like one lap I managed to catch him, then the next lap I managed to fall back and lose all the time again. So that wasn't too great, but I managed to go for a move down the inside here. My dad left a gap, and I thought this could be my only chance to overtake him here. So I managed to dive it down the inside. There was a gap there, so I thought might as well go for it, but the camera isn't quite, you know, wide enough angle. But you would have seen there, my dad was actually right beside me on the left-hand side through the fast left-hander, and then he managed to get the cutback and managed to get down the inside to this right-hander here at turn 1. And I think technically this is turn 2 here, guys, but I think we'll call it turn 1 just to make it a lot more easier. But the start-finish line is literally just before that sort of fast right-hander towards the end of the at the start of the lap, I should say. I'll point it out again because I'm getting all confused here, but my dad lost the position, then went and gained it back at the similar place at the long straight. But you'll see in a second there, you'll see the sort of checkered sort of tower there. That's, you know, there's the start-finish line there. That's basically the start-finish line. And you sort of think that's sort of the first turn, if you will, at the start-finish line, but you start at the lights, which are, you know, further forward, and that technically means this is turn 1. It gets confusing. I'm sorry, I just confused all you guys which are watching, but I think this race shows you only need 2 people for a good battle, don't you? It's really been good. I've been right behind my dad this whole race, and the racing has been good. I mean, I've been trying my best to get past him here, but I just can't find the space. I mean, obviously I got past for about 3/4 of a lap. Hopefully I'll be ahead for more than that at the end of this race, but we'll see. Obviously you only need to be ahead at the final corner to be winning the race, but my dad gets a little bit sideways there. I managed to close up the gap there and get that gap, which was about a second going down the straight, to, what is that, like 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second. But you can see that's the corner there where I lose a lot of time. It is kind of strange, not gonna lie. And also the final corner, well, the final major corner, I'll point it out in a second, but basically it's weird because I normally lift off through there, but for some reason today, this was the first ever time I could just go flat out round there, and I'm really not sure why. The kart wasn't that spectacular or anything, but I could just go around there full throttle, and I just didn't understand why or how or why the kart was good at that part of the track and not good at parts. This corner here, you can see, I'll just go flat out through here. It may not look like it because obviously you're still turning and scrubbing off a bit of speed, but still, going flat out through there, I don't know. I've never done it before really, so I didn't really expect it. I mean, I have done it sort of flat out in the past and sort of gone very wide into the barrier nearly, but obviously that's not what you want. But anyway, last couple of laps here, you can see there I got a bit all over the place there and nearly lost the race completely by going into the barriers, but my dad's now got a lead as we go on to either, I think this is the penultimate lap, but it might be the last lap. I can't remember now. It's obviously hard to tell looking at the recording how many laps you have got left. Obviously a lap's about 30 seconds, but obviously I always leave a bit extra on the footage at the end, so it's sometimes a bit confusing, but it looks like this isn't the last lap. But look at this, my dad's gone wide and he leaves to get around the outside. I managed to go all the way around the outside here. I left a bit of space there. We go all the way around the outside of my dad there, who's going slow on the inside of the turn there after making a mistake up at the hairpin at the top of the track. And that wasn't the last lap. This is the last lap going on to now, so I've just got to defend from my dad. And I'm looking like, is he there, is he there, is he there? I'm just like looking to make sure I just go to the inside and literally just drive down the grass pretty much and just defend this inside line here. That was the aim, to make sure that I could keep this lead and hopefully win this race, because obviously the first two races Tim has won, and it'd be good for me if I could win this race here. Even if I couldn't win the other one, it would still be nice. But here we are. Is this the start finish line? No, it's not. Okay, I got it wrong once again. So I think, I'm probably wrong, but I think this is the last lap now. As I said, it's very hard to really tell where I am in my recording, so I'm sorry about that, but this I think has to be the final lap now. You can see my dad got past me, but I go for a move down the inside here. I leave my dad space on the inside. He's going to look around the outside here, but obviously we both lost a bit of momentum there, obviously, as we're trying to give each other room, but I managed to keep that, and then I go a bit defensive here, but run a tad wide here. My dad, you can see just on the bottom left hand side of the screen, he's right beside me here, and the start finish line, where are we going to be? I think we've won this race. It's going to be incredibly close. Wow, what a crazy race that was. And let's have a look at the standings any second now. I'm going to put them at the top right hand side of your screen. You can see I did actually win that race. You're not going to believe it, but it was like 0.04 of a second between myself and my dad in that race. I'm not lying, it literally is that close. If you want me to leave a thing on Twitter or whatever, I will post the picture of the timing sheets. Absolutely crazy. But anyway, we head on to race number 2 now. And I can't remember, I don't think we did have reverse grid. I think they were going to put us in reverse grid order, but my dad went to the wrong grid slot, so yeah, that was him just deciding to go into number 2. So I went into the number 1 grid slot, but I suppose he did start on pole for the first race, so I suppose it's sort of fair. He starts on pole for one race, I start on pole for the other race. And just for the record, my dad did get the faster lap in that first race. But look at this start here, guys. Look how fast my dad is off the start finish line. I'm like, what can I do here? And I'm like wondering, is there something wrong with this kart's acceleration or something? Because that is just crazy difference in terms of the karts. I was flat on the accelerator as soon as I saw the lights. So was my dad. But yeah, he gets a much better start. And as I said earlier on the video, we weigh about the same. So it's really not that. I mean, obviously not exactly the same, but pretty similar weight. So it really shouldn't make that much of a difference off the line. So I think my dad did have a better kart here today. He did say it was a really good kart. I don't want to just keep saying that throughout and throughout, but you know, as I said, it equals itself out throughout the whole season, so maybe this is just a not too great first couple of rounds for me, and hopefully I'll get a good kart soon. So yeah, you can see the first couple of laps here, I'm just like, stay up right behind him and hopefully I can get past. But this is the corner here I was saying earlier. I don't know why, but it seems to be the corner where I lose a lot of speed, but through there that time it didn't seem too bad. And through that final turn I can take it flat out, so I can get a good run down the straight, but still in a straight line I'm still not that fast, which is annoying me. But hopefully in the next couple of rounds I'll be able to hopefully get a better car, and also I'm going to start going to the gym as well again. I've got my membership and everything once again. I did go before, but with exams and everything I was like, there's no way I can keep going to the gym as well, so I did stop it then. But I'm going to start going back now as I've got a bit of free time, so I thought it can help me out on my go-karting as well. Obviously I'll hopefully lose a bit of weight so I won't be so slow in a straight line, and general just make me a bit, you know, happier and give me something to do. So yeah, don't know why I'd really told you guys that, but that's what I was saying in the middle of a commentary now by the sounds of it. Just random life things that are happening. But my dad goes slightly wide here. I think he just slightly tapped the barrier with the rear left hand side of the kart there, and we managed to squeeze through here. I'm not too sure whether he moved out the way there because there was a problem with his kart or something, or he was just checking, but we do take the lead the race, or the second race I should say, for the first time. well, I suppose we technically did start on pole, so we had the lead for a couple of seconds, but after my dad had a good start, it was kind of tough. So you can see at this point, I'm like looking to the inside here to make sure that my dad isn't going down the inside and trying to go for the overtake. I look to see he's going to the outside, so I'm like, just defend on this inside here and try and go defensive, because I can sort of defend from this car, you know, in this kart, but the straight line speed was kind of an issue. You'll see. You'll see. Anyway, so final turn once again here. We go quite well through there that time, but I feel that to get enough momentum on this in this kart, I have to go wide, and then it's really tough for me to keep that sort of momentum up if I go tight into the corner and go defensive. But you can see my dad going around the outside here. I don't know whether you just saw it on the left hand side of the screen there, but I do manage to get back into the lead this race. He did actually briefly get past me in a straight line here, but luckily I managed to brake a little bit later and retake the lead of this race, which is good for me, obviously. And a slight mistake there, hitting the curb on the inside, and I think in a second here we'll see on the inside. Yeah, I can see my dad's going side by side with me here, and he managed to get back past, and now we're in the slipstream once again. We're right up in the slipstream here. You can see all the stones being thrown up in my face there. That was actually a problem throughout this race, actually. I didn't tell you guys in the first race, but I got quite a lot of stones, like all like little bits of like grit and stuff thrown up into my visor, and I got stuff in my eyes at certain points of the race. I know it sounds like a stupid excuse, but you have to have your visor open a bit, otherwise your visor just fogs up in these karts whilst you're driving these karts. I'm not too sure what it's like in like Formula 1 and stuff, how they get around that sort of stuff, but well, you know, if I closed my visor whilst karting here, I'd literally just have a steamed up visor, and that's just, I mean, I've closed the visor for a couple of laps in the past, as my dad gets a bit sideways there. I closed my visor in the past just to, you know, when it's raining or the stuff's going in the air and like lots of dirt and stuff. Sometimes I've closed my visor and I just get steamed up straight away. I was like, I can't go around like this, so I had to try and work out how to do, maybe we'll figure out a way maybe to stop that happening. As my dad goes around the outside once again. How's he so fast through that final major corner there? So we're in the slipstream once again, back into second place. At this point I'm like, look to the inside. Yeah, well, we've got to try and go for this move. My dad leaves a space and I go down the inside here, but I get very sideways, and my dad manages to squeeze past and back into the lead of this race. I can't believe it, but this surely has to be some of the best racing we've had throughout this whole series, and it's just amazing that it's just one race that we actually had two karts. I thought this was going to be the most boring racing in the world, but it's actually ended up being like the best racing in the world. So hopefully you guys can still enjoy the video, and hopefully you have enjoyed the video. So yeah, how long have we got left? Well, we're nearly at the 18-minute part of this video, and the race finishes at about the 22-minute part of this video, I would say. I'm not too sure, so we've either got 8 or 9 laps left, I think, because that's 4 minutes and it's about half a minute a lap. So depending on what part of 22 minutes, I think we do have 9 laps left, but who knows? I've probably got my maths wrong once again. But the lead my dad's got now is pretty big, after obviously that slight mistake where I got sideways. But my dad's actually got a helmet that's actually kind of cool in a way, because it has two visors. It has the plastic sort of see-through visor as the main part, and then he has like the secondary visor, like sunglasses in a way, that sort of you can like pull down like a little switch or whatever, and that puts the sunglasses down as well. So that's kind of cool. It's keep the stuff coming from like outside on the track or whatever into your helmet and hit your eyes. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I have had my helmet for quite a bit of time now. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it or anything, but maybe it would be time to get a new helmet with some of these cool things that they've put in them nowadays. I mean, I got my helmet like 2009, I want to say, something like that. So I've been go-karting here for a long time, actually. A weird story whilst we're still going around here. I started go-karting, I think, I remember correctly, at the end of 2007. After that was sort of the first season I really got into Formula 1. Mainly because Hamilton was, you know, good seeing a British driver at the front of the grid for the first time in a long time. That got me into Formula 1 properly. I've been watching Formula 1 since, I think 2001 and 2002 are the earliest memories I have of watching Formula 1. So I was quite young, yeah, when I was first watching Formula 1, but my dad's obviously really into motorsport and everything, so he was watching it and everything, so that's why I got into motorsport and everything, just in case anyone was wondering, just randomly. But yeah, so that got me into go-karting at the end of 2007. Obviously Hamilton's nearly taken the championship, so that's why I decided to go karting at the end of 2007. I can't even remember how old I was then, quite young. like 11, I think. So yeah, they've changed their rules up since, so you have to be older to come karting here, like 15 or something. So, or maybe it's 14, I can't remember now, but they've certainly changed up the rules since I first went here, because I think they probably realised it is quite dangerous for someone like 11 or 10 years old going around here. So I suppose that's that. But yeah, I've been go-karting since, what, 2007, so it's 2015 now, so you could say this is going to my 8th year of going karting around here. Kind of crazy, isn't it? I do have obviously a lot of experience around here, but I don't know whether experience makes up for skill. I'm sure other people in the series, I mean mostly I'd say Will, has a lot more experience in general in go-karts, but not around this tracks, and he's obviously a lot faster as a driver overall. I don't know whether that really counts or not, but yeah, I'm sure it does. I mean, Will, I'd say, is the fastest person we've ever had in this championship, and I can't remember. Let's have a look at the wins that we had last year. He had 4 wins, I think, from the 5 rounds that he raced in. So I think it was, he had 10 races and he won 4 of them. So he's pretty good, isn't he? I think that was out of 5 rounds. Can't even remember now, but it'd be hard. So I need to look through all the standings once again to exactly figure out how many rounds and everything he did. But sorry, I'm rambling on, but my dad's having a good race here, isn't he? And hopefully you guys enjoyed story time in the middle of this commentary. And yeah, only a couple of laps left, and I've really got to try and find a way past my dad here. It does look like he's had good pace here today, and you know, it's nice to see, because he really didn't have the best of times karting recently, because he had really slow karts. And it, you know, when you have a slow kart and you're coming like last or second to last, and you're not really in a battle or anything, it's not really fun, is it? I don't know whether you guys go karting. I mean, I know this isn't a serious championship in a way that we're going out and winning like money and stuff from it, but we're just doing it 100% for fun. It's supposed to just be like a friendly championship between, obviously, myself, my dad, just friends. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be like super serious where you like apply for it or whatever. So yeah, I know people have actually asked whether they can be part of the series, and it's like, no offence, but it's really just supposed to be a bit of fun between myself and my friends, away from YouTube and all that sort of stuff. Obviously I do make videos from YouTube and stuff at the end of it, but ooh, that was extremely close there. It wasn't actually contact at all, but that pretty much lost me any chance of getting back that gap now, unless my dad makes a mistake. But yeah, I think, could be wrong, I think we're going on to the last lap of the race now. I think this is the penultimate lap here. I think this is the last lap of the race here, so I'm not too sure my maths was correct, whether it was 8 or 9 laps, 18 minutes, I can't remember now, but yeah, so I've probably got my maths wrong or something. But I've talked about so many random things in this video, but I think it's actually been a pretty entertaining commentary. I've actually really enjoyed it, so hopefully you guys have got to this point and actually enjoyed this series as well. And oh yeah, I was talking about YouTube and being away from YouTube. Yeah, basically this is just supposed to be away from YouTube in terms of the people on it. And you know, overall just supposed to be enjoyable. But there's the start finish line, there is the checkered flag. My dad wins the second race of this 2-person race, but I've got to say, guys, especially the first race, that's got to be some of the best racing we've had. But yeah, congrats to my dad for winning race number 2 there, and I'm gonna say well done to him there. So good racing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Obviously there's only 2 people here today, so maybe it wasn't the best of racing you could say in the world, but hopefully you did enjoy it nonetheless. Here's the championship standings after 2 rounds. My dad's definitely closed the gap in now to 3 points within me, the championship lead, because I'm now on 51 points and my dad's on 48. Tim obviously didn't take part of this, neither did Tom, so they're both on the same points from the first round. Tim on 35 and Tom on 20 points. But anyway, guys, we're actually go-karting quite soon as well, I think in about a week or so's time, so you'll probably see another video in either 2 or 3 weeks time, so maybe a little bit closer together than other videos will be in the future, but I just wanted to make sure we got another round done quite soon. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Remember to leave a like if you did enjoy it, and until next time, it's been Alex and I am out of here. Goodbye.